up to this point. And welcome. You're watching the Mad Scientists Tea Party. Open access television for Asheville, Tennessee. Asheville, North Carolina. Okay. Now, and your name?
All the wackos that's fit to sit.
Your name, sir?
I am Moss Bliss. I'm president of Asheville Homeless Network.
Okay, and over here we have?
I'm Alan Ditmore. I'm his treasurer.
Treasurer for the organization. Okay. Yeah. Now you were just saying.
So we're sitting here to talk about rich people and how we can get in on their money.
I see. What's wrong with the time-honored tradition of pickpocketing?
I'm not that good. I've got big hands.
Big hands, big problem. Okay. All right, that's a good answer. But
well, I like Utah Phillips's idea that we should kill and eat the rich.
Mm-hmm. Right.
They probably don't taste very good. They've been eating all that fatty meat and all that.
I don't know how they would taste. How would the rich taste? But I'm
Polynesians say that long pig is quite good, but I haven't tried it myself.
I'm a firm believer in eat the rich, but I think we could also feed them to swine.
I don't think they'd touch it. A little professional courtesy.
Mm-hmm. Right. That'd be kind of
sort of like snakes don't go after lawyers.
There we go.
No, actually, some guy in
Is
Canada.
that right? Are lawyers immune to snake bite just by nature? All right. Here we go. We're gonna. Wait a minute. I'm making up. I'm making something happen here, and here it goes now.
Your console has improved greatly since I was here last.
Oh, you haven't seen the new system. We've installed the time machine and everything.
Go Randini!
Randini's. This is my band.
I'm on the website. He hasn't opened it up to anyone. There's like 10,030 members, and it hasn't gone anywhere in 2 months. I wrote him, and he said, well, I closed the site down. I was just getting ready to... I closed down new membership for some reason.
Oh, really? Because he's changing it?
Could be, but still, we've got some really good bands on there now.
Oh, yeah. I've been seeing it, but I didn't realize that new members couldn't join. This is an extension of Anarchy TV, and if you're wanting to get in touch with me and with compliments, controversies, or contributions, do use that post office box. So here we are, and the subject at the moment is the new initiative to crack down on panhandling.
No, the Businessmen's Association has already gotten the city to pass what I believe is an unconstitutional panhandling ordinance. It's almost word for word the one in Atlanta that was struck down by the courts.
Uh-huh.
The problem is you can't get anyone to strike it down until there's a court case to take it to court over.
Mm-hmm. You know why that is? Because this ain't Atlanta. You're not in Atlanta, boy. You're in Asheville, North Carolina.
Nonetheless,
and
I'd like to think I'm in a better place than Atlanta. But
if you think you can't fight City Hall in Atlanta, you don't know anything till you move to Asheville. As far as I've noticed, it appears that in Asheville, you doesn't think of fighting City Hall. You know what I mean? That's sort of it comes under that's the way it is.
Actually, I can chime in something on that. Compared to fighting the White House, fighting City Hall is a piece of cake.
Right.
And,
right. That's what that's the thing.
That's underappreciated is the miles of difference in hardship.
Mm-hmm. That's really blowing my mind right now. Is the fact that what's going on with the executive branch and frankly all three of the major branches of government. The way they just get away with anything, just go on and on and on, and not. It appears as though anybody is afraid to make a mention. Hey, you can't do that.
Right.
If there's ever been an administration in my lifetime that I have seen that is is the very definition of what the impeachment clauses were put in there for. This is it. Yet they've not impeached him.
Yeah, but the reason for that is that we haven't beaten City Hall yet. We can't even get to them because City Hall is between us and the White House.
So you think we need to work our way up?
We need to work our way up. That's right.
Could we just blaze a trail from here to there?
Yeah, but the first step is to beat City Hall.
Okay. All right. And how would you recommend beating them? Would you recommend with baseball bats or what?
Showing up to meetings and familiarizing ourselves with the issues.
Have you ever been to one of those meetings?
Oh, yeah. 30, 40, something like that.
Uh-huh. Have you ever in your life experienced anything more torturously boring than a city council meeting?
Oh yeah, I think so.
What's more torturously boring? Oh, let me offer to you. That's certainly good, but let me offer to you that the fancy pot over there, which is ready to go.
I will certainly try it, but I didn't want to disturb the anarchy later.
Well, sometimes sitting in the pasture and getting my cows, gaining the trust of my cows, that can top a city council meeting for lack of interest.
Really? Really?
Yeah, you're sitting here waiting for the cows to trust me.
Right, I can't imagine that because from my experience, I have found cows to be infinitely more interesting than city council meetings. But that's just me. Let me go. I'll go get us some cream as well, and there's sugar there in the bowl and various things.
Well, there's interesting as they're more interesting than Congress actually because there's not as much jargon. They're not all lawyers. So they're not completely talking in legal jargon.
That's what I was thinking.
Some of them aren't lawyers, yeah.
I realized someone told me this that everyone in Congress is a lawyer.
Right, and so you can't hardly follow Congress.
Well, that's not entirely true.
I can usually follow City Council.
The minority leader is a doctor.
But not a doctor of law?
No, he's an MD.
All right, and I was interested. I usually don't talk a lot about specific candidates like Ron Paul and stuff like that. But I have to admit that I believe it was on like the Tonight Show or something like that I saw the Ron Paul interview on the YouTube version, and I wherever it was I saw this, I really enjoyed. They asked the man how old he was, and if I'm not mistaken, 70-something. Do you know the age of Ron Paul? He's in his 70s, and this guy's been around a while. And what has he done with his life? He's a doctor. He delivers babies, and they asked him how many babies he had delivered, and I forget how many thousands of I forget what the number was, but it was enough to make you sit back and go, wow, this man has not been wasting his life.
Yeah.
And just as somebody who has been living life and all, and I'm not even wanting to get political about it, but I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the way the man has spent his life, and he's still sharp as a tack considering his age. So. Well,
I haven't caught up to you yet, John, but I hit the double nickel a couple Tuesdays ago.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
The double nickel. You're 10 years old. What? What's a double nickel?
55.
55, I think. Yeah.
Oh, 55. I see. I see. I don't know. Double nickel, 55.
It's a common phrase. Apparently not within your
No.
brain space,
I'm not
right.
aware of it at all. Obviously enough, Oh, I need to get some more things on the table. I got some. I don't know if you would care to hit some of the highlights in that article again, or any of those things, or
the main thing is that I believe, and I'm not the only one in town that believes that the panhandling ordinances are illegal, and especially in a town which calls itself Christian, whether it is or not. Because if you're walking around wearing your "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet, what did Jesus do? Jesus wandered around the countryside with his followers panhandling. He didn't have a job. You can call him a carpenter all you like, but that's what he did before he took up his cross. Yeah, that's what he did when he was a kid, learning from his dad. He didn't spend any time recorded in the Bible doing anything other than wandering around the countryside and mooching off of friends or followers or
mooching off. That's what I do. I've just recently moved in with Casey Waters, but I've been couch surfing for a good while. You see,
yeah.
We have a report from the Seawater that we now have enough to fill this one.
And the other thing is that once you start a foundation to help somebody, a lot of that foundation, where you say administrative costs all you want to, but when administrative costs include paying salaries to the people on the board, so they're getting their little perk right off the top.
Yes.
You're not helping those people with those. You don't need that money, or you wouldn't have got on that board in the first place. Yeah, it's nice to sit there and say what good deeds you're doing, and you're on this foundation and that foundation, but those foundations are paying you.
We do good deeds. We're here to help the homeless.
Help the homeless. They need the money.
Yes, we've made it our life's career to help the homeless. I bring down a meager $30,000 a year in administrative salary to help the homeless, and let me tell you, let me point out this homeless guy over here who I let stay at my house for 3 days last summer. Really, and not just anybody will do that, will they?
Not anybody. I do it.
Well,
I've got a homeless guy that has actually been paying me rent. So I basically cleared out the second bedroom of my 2-bedroom apartment and let him have it. And I've got another homeless man on my couch right now. And in fact, the Asheville Homeless Network was founded on my couch.
Indeed.
There was a married couple sleeping on my couch, and it was the woman in the couple that came up with the idea. And I didn't think it had much to go on. I didn't think it had any legs, as they say in the business. But what the heck, I didn't stop her from doing it, and I wrote the website for them and everything, and we've kept it going now for almost 5 years.
Okay.
We just had our 2-year anniversary as a legal corporation. And we do have our 501c3 status now. And
how many members do you have now?
It's hard to count our membership. For one thing, we don't always keep good records, but we do keep them on paper. We just haven't kept them all up on the computer all the time. Right now, there are over 240 people in our database who have ever filled out a membership form.
Right.
Whether they are currently still members or they were just transient, they filled out the form and then left town in 2 weeks. We don't have any way to contact all of these people.
Or if they're still homeless.
Or if they're
still alive.
Well, the homeless network is intended to be, quote, for the homeless, the formerly homeless and their allies, end quote. Right. So we've got a number of people with good homes and whatnot that are in the database. I've got an apartment, although I am technically homeless. A good part of my apartment rent and utilities are paid through a program for permanent housing of the homeless. And so from the federal government's view, I have to still be homeless or they wouldn't still be spending money on me.
Right.
And since it's a permanent program, they can't stop spending money on me unless I leave the program.
So you're kind of homeless and a landlord simultaneously. Yes, I see.
Loads of fun.
Okay, look at you, Alan. You have your what is the homeless network? I see. That's your.
Yeah, this is the treasurer badge, and actually, I noticed it doesn't really come out on the tube of the resolution, but it says housing now and no zoning, which I always wear these two together, because this one came from a supposedly conservative libertarian printer group,
right?
And this one, of course, came from a liberal group, but really they're connected, and so I wear them together to connect the two. That the regulation, that the land use regulation is affecting the housing supply.
Well, there was that gentleman that both Woodfin and Asheville wanted to annex his property near Richmond Hill Park, and he went with Woodfin because he could put twice as many units on his land under Woodfin laws than under Asheville laws.
Oh, no doubt. I can see it. Can't you see that being
And yet, strangely, nobody's calling Woodfin the progressive city, although the affordability, at least the market, the unsubsidized affordability,
They usually
is
just call it
considerably higher.
Woodtucky.
Actually, I'm going to suggest that you might want to slide down to the seat beside you in order to get you into the new shot that I'm going to put.
This one or that one?
I was suggesting Moss.
Oh,
You're in the camera. I'm not.
For that shot.
Right.
But I'm going to change the shot because I've taken it. Would you pass me that little teapot?
Pass you the little teapot.
See if it doesn't burn me.
Okay.
The other one. It's going to stick to the book.
You can just sit it down right there, maybe.
What is that? A CRC handbook?
No.
Chemistry and physics.
Yep. CRC.
Oh, it's CRC. It
Chemical
says-
Rubber Publishing Company.
Oh, you know that.
Oh yeah, we got these in college. We were on the 50th one of the physics handbook. A lot of sometimes useful information in it, depending on how deep into physics you are.
That's a real old one.
Yeah, it is. Older than the one I had in college. I've seen older, I think. But anyhow.
Did they
so,
change much?
They update them as new data becomes available, and they also update them as new techniques become available.
But how fast is that? How fast is this science? Is this science
Well, I
rapidly
haven't
like computer
followed-
being like computer science and like?
I
becoming
haven't
obsolete
followed
every year?
them, so I really can't answer that, Alan.
Oh, I should imagine that one's been updated substantially since it came out in what, the 30s or 40s. That version, you know.
So the old one's very different from a current one.
I think 1971 was their 50th anniversary edition.
Oh, I know what I was about to do now. I was about to get some cream for the.
At any rate, I am not opposed to collecting the money. I'm opposed to how they will likely distribute it. We have some homeless agencies in this town with salary budgets alone of over $1 million.
Right. And also the fact that the same forces that made the boxes are the same forces that ban panhandling.
No, I think that was my point in the article, that
Yeah.
that they grouped together to get city council to make it illegal, and then they fought city council to make it legal for them to do it.
Well, I think that they.
When a homeless person panhandles you on the street, okay, maybe he's going to go buy beer and cigarettes with it. But when the business association panhandles on the street, they're probably going to, buy a new computer or something with it. I don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't think like rich people, I'm sorry to say. Maybe it's just envy on my part. Who knows?
Actually, I'd like to take a softer line than no salaries at all. But you can have both a cap, which you could cap at a median income. Say no salaries above median income, and then also say a percentage of budget. No salaries beyond a percent beyond, I don't know, a third of the budget, 33% of the budget.
Well, it's like in Europe, most of the corporations have a salary cap where the highest paid person in the corporation can't get more than, say, 8 times what the lowest paid person in that corporation gets.
Yeah, and I hear Ben and Jerry's used to do that.
Ben and Jerry's used to do that. They got bought out by a bigger corporation and stopped doing it.
That's kind of in my next question was, you were saying there were some homeless organizations for the homeless that had millions of dollars in salary.
Over $1 million in salary.
Over $1 million in salary, and I was wondering, do they provide over $1 million to the homeless?
Yes, they do.
Okay, well,
I'm not knocking what they're doing. I am knocking. They closed one shelter because they didn't have enough money to refurbish it up to code. But the amount of salaries that they're paying are so much over the local averages that they could have just cut their salaries for a couple of years and been able to build the shelter. And again, I do not have facts on this. I have heard from 5 different sources, none of which actually showed me a piece of paper saying what the salaries were. But this one organization has 3 members of the organization being paid more than $100,000 each per year, and 3 more over $80,000.
That's a very weird image.
Yep, they
It's
do
like
that.
it was sitting in your lap.
Actually, he was sitting sort of behind me in that image, although he was zoomed in more, so it made him look more forward in the shot, I suppose. I'm gonna go try to scratch up some.
Now, where did the fancy pot go to? There it is.
Right here. This is a jasmine, a green tea and jasmine combination.
And I don't mind that these people are being paid salaries. I just feel the salaries are not commensurate to what they're doing. It's like they're taking money from the charity rather than just being paid for their service.
Yeah, and I did some criticism of overstaffing too. I think that there's staff that's moderately paid. It seems like some of these organizations, through their own mistrust, I think, would rather pay staff than actually provide empowering resources to the homeless. And so they're paying staff to gather information or administer the shelters or do all these things that are essentially controlling and managing. And even when the staff is moderately paid, they're just micromanaging more than they're helping, but they're micromanaging too. And they could help more if they micromanaged less, and they could save some staff and use that money for actual benefits.
You know, Alan, that I've had some headaches trying to get people to work with me in the homeless network. People will show up at the meetings, but getting them an assignment to do something is not always something you can depend on, shall we say.
Yeah, that's right.
And so getting someone that they know is going to be there, or at least they know they can fire them if they're not, is just something that's a reality. I understand your point, but I also there have been a lot of times in the history of the Asheville Homeless Network that if I couldn't do it, it didn't get done.
Well, yeah, that's the case with any organization, and also can be exaggerated, particularly with the homeless that actually have problem with transportation and being organized, and maybe they don't have a telephone, et cetera, et cetera.
Communication is a bigger problem.
It's a much bigger problem.
Most homeless people do have a cell phone. They might not have minutes on it right now, but they do have a cell phone. Exactly. I wish we had enough money coming in that we could be paying cell phones.
Give all the homeless people cell phones and video cameras.
We tried over the last 3.5 months to give all the homeless people that came to us either bus tickets or bus passes for the month. Some of them for several months. We've flat run out of money. We need more donations.
That is awesome. Bus passes.
We spent almost $10,000 in bus passes and tickets, and in paying people's back housing owed so they could get back into housing, and getting people a utility bill or something so they could keep the housing that they've got. Mm-hmm. There was scooter repair and a towing bill and all kinds of things to keep people with at least what they have now and give them a little bit of a foot up.
Right.
And I don't mean a foot up some orifice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's a great idea.
We got a huge donation back in September. We got access to it in October. It took a while to clear the bank. We put about a third of it away so we'd have something next year. But we spent all the rest of it just since October. Mm-hmm. Or September, whatever.
And what percentage of that went to administrative expenses?
Well, we did get a couple people computers, but only one of them was ours. My computer was about to keel over. Mm-hmm. So I'd say a very, very tiny percentage went to anything. Our expenses are keeping a computer running, keeping the website up, buying paper and ink, and our P.O. box.
Mm-hmm. No salaries?
No salaries.
No salaries. Okay. Paper, ink, and website, computer.
There have been times that I've taken a little bit of money out when I've been short myself, but I put it back.
Ah, be careful.
I know. I have put it back, though. A lot of the money that we spent, we did put out there as being loans.
Mm-hmm.
No interest, no rush. When you can get it to us so we can help someone else.
Right.
Rather small percentage of those people have so far honored that.
Mm-hmm. You're the treasurer, so you actually know more about the finances.
No, he actually knows less about the finances because so far
I don't have
I'm still
direct
trying to
access,
put them
yeah.
all together so that I can turn them over to him.
I see. You better keep your eye on
I'm
this.
kind of an aspiring or nominee treasurer, but,
Uh-huh.
I haven't. That's right. I haven't had the raw data
Okay.
to crunch, and
And I'm sure there will be some negative things to say about how I use the money, but if I think they're negative, I do what I can to put the money back.
I really don't want to focus on any negative ideas about the money because I'm pretty aware of you and of what's going on.
We have at
and
least $4,000
really-
out in housing and automotive and towing loans.
Oh yeah, I heard there was somebody who was talking about they had encountered a homeless person. They said, I know homeless people that have automobiles.
yeah.
Well, I don't, but I know homeless people that have automobiles.
And we were just saying,
A lot of them live in them.
well, the sheer gall of a homeless person having an automobile.
Ask them if they paid their insurance.
Yeah, when I was homeless, I had an automobile. I made sure I had an automobile because that's where I slept.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what kept me out of the rain.
Now, where do you live now? Are you homeless? Do you live do you live indoors?
Yeah, I live in a fairly old trailer on my farm.
Okay, you
and
have
I
a
inherited
farm.
the farm.
Okay, you inherited a farm.
What happened is I was threatened and driven off the farm. You know, my homeless experience was several years back and fairly brief, and it had to do with threats that made me, you know, some guy said, we know where you live, and so for a little while I didn't live there anymore. But so then yeah, the trailer was still there even when I couldn't sleep in it. I didn't dare sleep in it.
Do you want to expound upon that? Apparently you don't, but would you like to expound upon why you were threatened or what that was about?
There was a battered woman nearby that came to me for assistance.
Yeah.
And I drove her out of the area.
Right.
And to a battered women's shelter that was not local. And she had enough. She said that her ex was able to could guess who she went to, and that I shouldn't come back, and that I shouldn't go back for a while. And so I didn't. And
so, but you feel safe to go back now?
Fairly safe as time goes by.
Maybe you didn't want.
There was a while I didn't feel safe, and then as more and more time goes by, I slowly feel safer and safer.
How much does Doggy help with that? Is Doggy any good as a house dog, as a watchdog?
Yeah, I mean she'll bark. Nobody can sneak up on me. I'll be awake.
That helps to have an alarm.
Yeah.
Right. I know how it is living in a trailer. I've tried that too, and you don't feel real secure in a trailer for some reason. You know, I feel like people could just shoot right through the wall and shoot me in a trailer. You know what I mean? Things like that.
Yeah, well, that would be true in a stick-built house too. I guess it wouldn't be true in a brick or cinder block house.
Right. I'm for brick houses. Yeah. I'm
but
staying in one now for that very reason.
2x4 clapboard stick-built, it would at least what they had. At least the weapons I know they had could. Actually, I think I saw on TV that the weapons they had could go through cinder block.
Yeah. Yeah, you can. It's not easy to blast through cinder block, but a good slug can blast through cinder block.
Right,
depending a lot on where you hit the cinder block.
right. Well, they use 7.62 by 39.
I know nothing.
Me too.
And I saw in some documentary, I think on the History Channel, that would go through a cinder block.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
It's kind of borderline.
Well, I am coming up on my 10th anniversary as an Asheville resident.
Uh-huh.
February 10th of 1998, I crashed my car here.
You like that?
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel like I'm looking at a lateral kaleidoscope, or vertical kaleidoscope, I guess.
You don't even know what I did there. I just pushed
Pushed a button.
a button there.
Yeah.
See?
There
Look
we
at
go.
that.
So, it's been almost 10 years that I've been transplanted here.
Mm-hmm.
Keep telling people I'm a good old Southern boy.
See how
Southern California.
the reason I put this one on, see how the wall just cuts out to
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
Yep.
I like that effect.
I saw that on another show earlier, and I wondered how you managed to follow those blocks.
Now you know.
No, I don't. I just know you pushed a button.
Let's see, we could is that you?
No.
Well, it could be me.
Yes, it's a text message. I must have had the ringer down.
Huh.
Don't know. Well, let me... 2 new text messages. I don't get text
Oh, well.
I'm supposed to have text messages blocked on this machine.
Really?
Yes. So I will call Sprint and complain to them.
Well, maybe.
All the text messages I get are spam.
Yeah, I don't know how to deal with text. I've just
And
recently learned how to deal with
Sprint
text.
was supposed to have blocked all text messages from my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well.
I get calls that have a return number that is 555 555 5555. Mm-hmm. And I don't answer those. I just hang up on them.
So anyhow, what are we talking about?
How easily a hush falls over the room.
No.
I think we just proved that point.
Oh, well, I know their caliber because they shot my fuse box.
Mm-hmm.
They shot my fuse box. When I came home,
Oh my God.
went right through my fuse box. I found the shell, too, so I knew right what they were using.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Jasmine, John.
Yeah, it's a nice tea, isn't it?
It's nice.
That's honestly, we try to serve a good cup of tea here. Okay, now in the blue pot right now, what we have is we were gifted this tea, which you read.
Yep.
You read on here, I
Pregnant
believe.
tea.
I believe it said it was England's #1 favorite tea or something.
That's what it says on the banner right there on top.
#1. Yes, it does.
Didn't think there were that many pregnant people in England.
Yes. Are you,
Hey, Chris.
are you here to join the homeless conversation?
Yeah.
Welcome to the All Homeless
Oh,
Show.
they all,
No, no.
no, we actually got someone else going to be coming.
Now
shortly.
is this man is this man a member of the organization?
Chris has joined a couple of times. He's
joined
resigned
a
at least
couple of
once.
Yeah.
And resigned. Okay.
Well, see, basically-
Well, see, I know him, and I understand how that could happen.
Well,
yes.
no. Well, see, actually, basically, the city of Asheville has told the homeless network when I first got into it was they had told what was the lady that was part of it when it first started?
Gwen?
Gwen. The city told Gwen that if I was part of it, that they would have nothing to do with them, wouldn't help them, because I'm too radical for the city.
They may or may not have done that, but no one ever notified me of that, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You quit one time in a huff because you said we weren't doing anything.
No, that was
There
the
you
second
go.
time. That was the second
No,
time.
then okay. Then he's been a member 3 times and quit twice.
Okay.
He hasn't
Hey
quit
there.
the second time yet. The
We
last
highly
time yet.
recommended that in the glass pot over there. If you like a jasmine tea,
Oh yeah, that's
and with
excellent.
just a slight bit of a sweetener to it, it is it's almost very sweet on its own.
I like my jasmine tea. I was watching this earlier on TV where you just had this, you were focusing just on this pot.
Yeah. This is the Glow Lady. For those who don't know, you didn't bring your guitar, did you?
No, I didn't. I came from the homeless meeting.
Okay. And you don't use your guitar at the homeless meeting? This
No,
team-
we've got a
this
really
team
nice
will-
space
this
with a
team
really
will be
nice
a little
lady.
too strong, probably what you're for. Maybe not.
We've got a really nice spot for our meetings. We've had it for most of our 4.5 years. And however, when I've tried playing guitar up there, the staff comes up and tells me we're making too much noise.
Let's see.
And I didn't think it was noise myself.
Not appreciative, are we?
So what do you do?
What do I do?
You're an advocate for?
I am president of ASHEVILLE Homeless Network,
Uh-huh.
which is still the nation's only homeless membership organization. And sometimes we do things and sometimes we don't. It depends on what we have in the bank.
Here, you can get some
Or
more out
what
of there.
kind of
Go-
cooperation we have from the members.
A little more will come out. Go ahead.
We keep going.
What
I
kind of members do you
kind of
have?
wanted to save,
No, if empty it, I'm gonna I'll remake it. I have more makings, so empty that, and I'll
For the most
add
part.
some things to it. Yes.
The brochure states the homeless, the formerly homeless, and their allies.
Right, and then just stick it over
Well, I
here, and
would
I'll add to it as
Oh, fine.
Okay.
That is a bit strong, John.
I knew it would be. See, I wasn't recommending it to you. You see what I mean?
No, it's too late.
What's that, stevia?
No, it's saccharin, but
Oh.
it's Smoky
Artificial
Mountain
stuff.
sweetener. Well, I can't do the new artificial stuff, but the old artificial stuff I don't have a problem
You
with.
can't do the new artificial stuff, huh? What,
Well-
do you have a
Did
reaction
you
or
try
something?
stevia?
I have tried stevia, and there's just some flavor to it that's worse than saccharin.
Yeah.
The aftertaste is not what I like.
it's very dehydrating. I mean,
Stevia?
stuff. I think it's NutraSweet, whatever.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
also
yeah,
very
that's the
expensive.
artificial. Stevia?
Yeah, and the amounts I use
that's
sweetener,
true.
it's very
Oh,
expensive.
well, stevia you don't use a whole lot. I mean, if you use a whole lot, then it tastes really bad.
Well, I've tried various brands and various amounts,
Uh-huh.
but it didn't do it for me.
He's using Blue Ridge brand.
Yeah,
Smoky
one-
Mountain.
One thing I noticed about
Smoky Mountain
drinking
or something.
NutraSweet is it's like drinking salt water. The more you drink, the thirstier you get. It doesn't quench thirst at all because it's so dehydrating.
Yeah, what's up there, lady?
Hey, Mom.
I like the background.
If you
Yeah,
care
where'd
to.
where'd you get the background at?
This was provided to me by the guys who
Do you have
do,
a pen?
particularly Larry, who does the
always have a
wallpaper
pen.
project.
Cool.
This was actually an episode from the wallpaper project,
Oh, cool.
and they make wonderful backgrounds, don't they?
Yeah, they did.
So there we have it.
Asheville Homeless Network is now members of several larger, more national coalitions. And they keep having to make exceptions for us in what they're charging us for dues because we're the only organization that joins that is made up of homeless people.
Right.
So one place said just send what you want, but send it to my attention so I can tell the board that this is legit.
Wow.
Oh, cut that out.
Is that you?
That was me.
Is that because of
That was a direct connect. I don't have direct connect.
Yes, you do. You do now.
Really?
Wow.
And there can be kind of
What
a-
is Direct Connect? I don't. even know
It's a
that.
Nextel phone. You can do walkie-talkie.
Oh, I see. And someone walkie-talkied you.
Apparently,
Somebody must be trying to get in touch with you, dude. Why don't you find out who it is? Just answer it
Somebody,
and say what?
somebody
Who are
sees you
you?
on TV.
nobody home.
Hey.
Hi
Is that what it says? Nobody home?
No, it gives me the direct connect number.
And there can be kind of a paralysis that sets in. If the donations run
I'm-
out and nobody
I'm just gonna
has
turn this
any
off.
ideas or any initiative,
Sometimes
you know,
you have
to make something happen, then nothing happens. And
You sign?
and that happens sometimes. Then nothing.
Well, all right. Well, now here we are, all homeless. You're back in your trailer.
Yeah.
So that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. But you had the experience, and that was
I've heated it 2 nights this year.
you heated it
Yeah.
2 nights
I've
this
turned
year.
on the heat 2 nights this year.
Is it electric heat or do you have a gas?
Propane.
Propane. Okay. I had electric heat in the trailer that I was in for a while, but I'm currently housed by the kindness of people who let me stay at their house. Let's keep that out. So, now you have a spoon.
But I
And-
don't need a spoon. Oh well.
Well, if you don't need it, why do you use it?
Let me see. Am I employed? No. Am I looking for a job? Yes. If yes, what kind of job would you like?
No, you
Working
can't
for
put
me
that.
or for me, no.
Every now and again, we get these bright ideas that we can actually do something to help people get jobs. It hasn't happened yet, but we keeping it open.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm cool with that. Yeah.
People
gone to the
have
street
suggested
corner yet.
actually starting our own temp agency, like Labor Ready.
Yeah.
And
Would
I'm
not be a
going,
bad idea.
would not be a bad idea, but where do we get the employees? How do we get the setup money? How do we get all the licensing, the permits and
Have you-
everything?
have
And
you-
then how do we get the employers to come to us and ask for workers? So
Have you thought about doing joining URTV as an organization?
well, considering we're close to flat broke right now, we're not considering it at this time.
Okay. What kind of do you know what the prices would be for?
Jonathan mentioned something about there is it for nonprofits. I don't know what the price is, but you can have 3 members. I'm not exactly sure on the rest of it.
Yeah, I think there's some kind of a deal, and they might be able to work even an extra special deal for you. You get sponsorship, don't you?
Right now, I had Steve sponsored one of my classes.
Did somebody sponsor
And
your
someone-
membership?
Yeah.
Okay.
Michael Muller sponsored my membership fee and my studio class.
Mm-hmm.
And then a friend of mine, Steve, sponsored my editing class.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got blessed with the money for the field gear class, which Tuesday I get certified, and I'll be able to take the cameras out and get some more footage.
Be careful, but you're careful with
Yeah.
cameras,
Oh, yeah.
aren't you? Yeah. Because
But I am going to get with the network and see if we can start working something out. Maybe even bring the camera and do a 5-minute interview and present one person a week. You know, this is so and so. This is kind of like a resume over the TV, and see if maybe that'll work. So.
That might be helpful. We did do a program for WPVM. I've got a disc of that program.
oh yeah, did you bring it with you?
Oh, and didn't
course.
Jonathan's Coffee House do one?
I am going to be on the L&B show next month sometime.
Oh,
We've already taped the show.
Okay,
That's Monday nights at 8,
is that right?
I believe.
Okay.
Maybe only once a month, but I think it's a weekly.
Well, also the Mad Scientist is being sponsored by Casey Waters, whose show I think comes on. It's Sunday night. Is it 7:00 that Casey Waters comes on?
As I understand it, the mad scientist himself is being sponsored by Casey Waters.
That's right. That's right. So, that's why I have a warm and secure place to live in a loving environment and non-hostile. It's really good to be able to relax, and that's something that that's a hardship that homeless people have, that people that have a nice secure place to stay, they just do not understand how much stress is put on an individual not having a place to live, and the insecurity of day after day, where will I sleep tonight, and what am I going to be subjected to? It's very difficult. And as you probably know, the stress level increases dramatically, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when you have more and more of the campsites getting lost because they're going in and they're clearing the areas, and once they clear the areas, their campsites are spotted, and the next thing they're being chased out of their campsites.
Mm-hmm.
You have just witnessed one thing that the Asheville Homeless Network always has done, which is provide homeless people a sense of membership to something.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they fill in the membership form, they get a card.
That's cool.
The card also on the back of it has the meeting information and contact information.
Meetings 2:00 on Thursdays at the Perch Market, Grove
The
Corner?
Perch inside Grove Corner Market, yes.
Cool. That's really cool. I'll have to put a link
And
up
we've
on
been having
my website
meetings.
for you.
We've been having meetings virtually every week for almost 5 years.
Wow.
There have been a few layoffs in there. There've been a few missed weeks where no one showed up,
Uh-huh.
but virtually every week for almost 5 years.
Uh-huh. So you have a lot of the same people come.
It changes over time, but